You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. So keep looking, don't settle.
Did you ever think of giving up?
There were moments where it was pretty tough.
If you're starting a business or if you've built a business and you don't push yourself to the point where you're going to give up because you've just pushed yourself so hard, you haven't pushed yourself hard enough.
And there was no personal computer in 1975. It's
Right.
hard, it's very hard to believe.
Well, that's why we made one.
Yeah.
We made one because we wanted one and there wasn't one, so we had to make one. We just made it for ourselves. And we showed it to our friends and they all wanted one. And so we were busy making these computers by hand for our friends, and it was taking all of our life, all of our spare time. And so we decided we better manufacture 100 of these so that we can not have to spend the rest of our lives making them for our friends.
They started making it for a friend. I'll guarantee you he was just doing it for the love of it. Steve says right there, I never anticipated how big it would be. And no one ever does. No entrepreneur ever thinks, you know what I'm doing right now is going to be massive. Because if you're thinking that far ahead, you're not thinking on what's currently in front of you. And once you stop playing the game that's in front of you, what needs to be done from day to day, you've lost the game. So what he's saying there, it goes for every entrepreneur. It's always day by day, week by week, year by year. At the most.
We didn't think about starting a company. We were just doing it for ourselves and then our friends, and then the circle got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now there's 25 million people.
So you were having fun.
We've always had fun doing this. Sometimes people come to me and say, I want to start a company. And I say, why? They say, oh, I want to make lots of money. I say, forget it. That's not a good enough reason. Most people that have started companies because they want to make lots of money, I haven't seen very many of those succeed. The ones that succeed are people that come, sometimes they don't even want to start a company, they just have an idea that they want to express out into the world. And oftentimes they have to start a company because nobody else will listen to them.
They will start a company because no one else will listen to them. Don't let anyone break your dreams. Don't let anyone ever tell you what you're dreaming is BS. Ever, ever, ever. No one's supporting you. Go out and do it on your own.
When something's not quite good enough, do you stop and make it better, or do you just ship it? You know, and everybody watches to see how the senior management makes those decisions. What we've tried to do is stop and make it great before we ship it. And by example, you can say anything you want, but everybody watches very carefully when you're in a difficult situation.
Hold on to every single word he's saying. We stop. We make it perfect. It's just what you do when you're passionate about something. His driver was not money. His driver was not being the biggest organization in the world. His driver was just perfection. He was so proud of what he was making. A big lesson. People watch without you realizing. It's like people who've got kids out there, or if you've got younger siblings or whatever, they watch. Even when they're not watching you, they're watching you, and they will copy you. And that's what Steve is saying. We made decisions and our staff saw. They imitated us. They wanted to be perfectionists like us. Love it. Love it. Love it. What a story.
How do you see yourself 10 years from now?
You know, my headlights are not that good. I don't know.
10 years from now, great entrepreneurs don't work in 10 years because they're ready to pivot. Because tomorrow the world might change and they're so open-minded. What are you talking about 10 years? I don't know what's happening in 10 years.
I think about a year, 2, 3 down the road. We have some projects at Apple that are sort of maybe 4 years down the road, 5 years, probably like 3 or 4 at the most, because things change too much.
You know how if you ask somebody how much did you buy that car for, and they say, oh, 12, 13,000, it means it's on the bottom end of 12. Unless they say 13, 12, it usually means the highest. See, the number that you say first is the correct number. Notice that in negotiating, whenever people go up, they always exaggerate. And I love Steve, and again, I'm going to have one more go here, Steve, the last one. He's doing it to appease. He's doing it because he thinks that's what the world wants to hear. It's like, he feels like a fool that doesn't have a 2 or 3 year plan. So he's just saying it to just say, okay, I've got a 2 or 3 year plan. Whatever. But really, he's got a 2 or 3 week plan. I know that. I could see it.
You can be going down a path, you say, well, in 5 years I want to be here. But then something new happens. You just say, forget that, I want to be over there. So most of this 5-year planning that I've seen in my life, some of it's essential, but most of it changes too quickly. So we tend to look 3, 4 years. It's about as far ahead as we can see.
See what it's like? It's all of a sudden 3 or 4 years, yeah? See, be careful when you lie, You can't remember your lie. You know when you're looking like as far as your eye can see, and you could just see all green, and it might be like the forest, but you could also see just all green? Well, that's what 3 years looks like. I know I'm going there. I know it's all green, green. But what the plant really looks like, what the tree really looks like, how much water's there, we don't know. Because if we thought that far, we wouldn't be the people that we are. Even the masterminds, even the best of the best, didn't know where they were going to be in 3 years' time. And that's the truth, guys, because things can change.